Hello, everybody. Welcome back to King Back with Keo. I know this is late. This is probably a couple of days late. I know I did have a guest planned for this week, but I wanted to do a solo episode, but I've been focusing on other things. So we're back with another solo one, like planned, but unfortunately, it was recorded days later. And as you can tell, I'm a bit of a mess. I put my pajamas on. I had a laundry day. I showered not too long ago, and today's a mess. Today's a complete mess. Today's the 24th, so I was supposed to actually release this yesterday. But this will be released as soon as possible, and then the next one will hopefully be out soon. It might be another regular one. It might be another solo one. It might be another. It might be another guest one. Who knows? I'm thinking it might be another solo one. Before I get another guest on, I have guests planned out, but at the current moment, not enough to get further on. So this one will be quite short. What I wanted to talk about this podcast, I kind of want to talk about Arsenal. Not too much about Arsenal. The majority of it will be about Arsenal and my complaints about the club and the current habits of it. And then I'll probably be moving on and talk about a little bit of updates of myself and what my current plan is for future endeavors for myself. So let's start off. I'm gonna make sure I don't even have any notes. I'm spitballing this because I'm very. I'm not upset, but more passionate about what I want to talk about. I want to preface this. I did just become an Arsenal fan in the past year, so a lot of my points will be kind of moot. But I still have opinions on it. I've recently only watched soccer for my knowledge probably starts back from 2015, so I'm fairly new to the sport. So my points will come very poor, but I do have opinions. I do want to preface that, but as an Arsenal fan, I am very pissed about the situations that we are currently having. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of things are swinging better for us, in my opinion. For myself, today is 24th, 6:38 p.m. Eastern. So the game for Everton Liverpool has actually just occurred. It actually just finished a couple of hours ago, I believe. I unfortunately missed the game, but the results is actually quite good for Arsenal. Because of that, let me swing that over to my other monitor. Liverpool is now 3 points behind us, and that actually completely changes the game because I initially thought that Liverpool might win against Everton. I know they're lifetime rivals, and they have a lot of history with each other. That's why I thought Liverpool might bring the heat, and Liverpool is actually a very strong side. One of my closest friends, Paul, is a Liverpool fan. We convinced him to be a Liverpool fan because we convinced him to be a Liverpool fan because um, you know we felt that squad might be good for him, even though it was last year when they weren't doing so well, but they're doing quite well. So even we call it the Paul curse. Every team he supports, he kind of tends up cursing. And you know what? We're noticing it now. He has cursed Liverpool. I actually thought that Liverpool might actually win the league. Realistically, I made a prediction quite a while ago about who would actually win the league. I believe I said Man City, but I did think that Liverpool might actually be up top. Let me actually look at that video. This is quite a while ago. I look about the same, weight wise, but um, my hair is super short. So, I'm looking at this. I had Liverpool third and Arsenal second. Actually, my predictions might actually be my top three might be correct. I had Man City champions, unfortunately, even though I said I was an Arsenal fan. I should say was. I am an Arsenal fan. Um, with the current situations, how City is with 2 games behind and only 4 points behind, it's very concerning, especially with City's schedule. Liverpool's schedule, I knew they were going to have struggle because they have a tough schedule from now on. They have Aston Villa and Spurs. Spurs, of course, they were doing quite well at the beginning of the season, but they have tapered off. But they still are a strong side. I mean, fifth is a very strong competitor. So they are they have a difficult one, and Aston Villa is already very strong. I mean, they beat us uh, unfortunately, quite handedly. It was very unfortunate. I was very upset during that game, but we'll talk about that later. But Liverpool, I want to start off with. Liverpool has a tough schedule, so has the tough ending. So I really don't think they were actually going to pull it out of the bag. They needed to win every single game from here on out, and losing that actually just ruins it for them. So they needed at minimum a draw, then win everything, and then have Arsenal and City win it can have special conditions. But for the best case for them to win the league was them to win, and this actually puts them out of the title race. And I'm actually very happy about that. That puts a much better staple to it. City, of course, are 2 games behind, so they have to play 6 games total. But their schedule is one thing I'm not too concerned about. Well, I am concerned about, but for them, if they were to win or lose, I wouldn't I'm going to say they're going to win most of these games. Brighton, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Fulham. Spurs is going to be their toughest match, and maybe United actually United's the FA Cup game. West Ham, I actually have not watched a single game of West Ham. I don't know how strong they are, at least performance wise. I know they're a decent squad, but I know that their performance after losing Declan Rice hasn't been absolutely great. So I know they got James Ward-Prowse, who's been basically a replacement for. Actually, no, that's a complete lie. I haven't watched many West Ham games to really state my opinion on that, but I know that West Ham is a pretty decent squad. They're sitting in 8th, which is mid-table, but I know that they're a solid squad. They've been able to do some work, even though their goal differential isn't great. So City has the most difficult match is Spurs, and Spurs was said to be the team to determine the winner. This will still be the case, as long as the predicted wins are predicted. But we can hope for the best that Brighton or Nottingham Forest or Wolves or Fulham to really bring up the pace. Looking at if we're looking at rankings of the teams, it doesn't look like they would be much effort. But we did see Crystal Palace beat Liverpool last week, so that's a great thing to hear that anything could happen. But Man City is a very powerful squad, and not and it is quite concerning if they win all 6 games, because that does mean that we have no shot. But that does mean they have to win all 6 games. If they win 4, if they win 2, that's also concerning, right? Draw 2. Mathematically, if Arsenal wins every single game, I didn't even do this calculation beforehand. Win the next 4 games, that's 12 points. That puts them at 89. Next 6 games, if they win, is 18. It's a very rough. I think they need to win 4. To minimum, City needs to win 4, 12. No, they need to win 5 to secure it. They need to win 5 of their next 6 games. 3 times 15. 3 times 5 is 15. Then plus 1 is 16. That's 89 points. And if Arsenal wins, did I do that math right? Hold on a minute. I have to do the math on this. We're doing live calculations. 6 games. If they win 5, that's 15. And then draw 1. That's if they draw 1, that's 16 points. 16 points gives them 89. If Arsenal wins the next 4 games, that's 12 points. That puts them at 89. Oh. So City can't even... City has to win every single game? Oh, I didn't even think about that. City... Oh my god. That actually puts everything in different lights. Has to win every game. Yeah, that's actually... Yeah. Man City also needs to win every single game to really secure it because we have a better goal differential as of right now. Of course, if further situations occur on, that's also in the condition that Arsenal does win every single game, and that is also going to be very difficult because of course we have our rivals Tottenham, which is going to be a tough match. We did Tottenham is actually in 4 days. Then we have Bournemouth, Man United. Man United gave Liverpool a problem, but this we have things coming up, and it's gonna be quite concerning, but it can be hope for winning the league. Um, and I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for the next 4 weeks. 4 weeks? Yeah, 4 weeks of whether or not to see who wins the title because this is actually one of the tightest races in a while. Last year was pretty close, but it kind of turned when City beat Arsenal, and then the tide flipped. So as long as Arsenal kind of keeps their composure and keeps winning games or such, we can't really draw. We need to win, and that's what scares me. That the fact that we need to win four games because Arsenal's now known to bottle the league. Uh, but yeah, last year I wasn't really an Arsenal fan yet. I watching Arsenal lose the league was very hard to see my friend go through. But I don't know why, but it kind of allowed me to kind of go, yeah, I want to be an Arsenal fan now. After seeing how much pain he was in, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be an Arsenal fan. I don't know why, but I chose to be an Arsenal fan after that season. You can call me a bandwagon, sure. I honestly don't know. I honestly didn't know which team to support. It was either Man United or Arsenal, and I dislike too many players on Man United to be a United fan right now, so I chose Arsenal. But to get off my point about the Arsenal tangent, I'm very concerned about how everything is. Um, this might be a hot take, but I'm a Kai Havertz hater. Kai Havertz has been doing quite well. He's kind of woken up during the later parts of the season. So I am giving it, hopefully, I am giving him the chance that he deserves. He's getting the chances, he's getting the plays, but I think that the position that Arteta is giving him is kind of strange because I feel like he gets the opportunities, but his control of the ball really needs to work with, and I've noticed it a lot when he's near by the ends. He doesn't really know what to do to control the ball, and he every time he gets it, he loses it. And I get mad when looking at it. I'm like, why'd you give it to this guy? But of course, statistics says statistics, and he's actually our second highest goal scorer, and I actually didn't know that. But I do think that seeing him play, I don't see him as our second highest goal scorer, and that kind of shows the problem with Arsenal is that we don't have a scorer. We don't have someone that kind of goes, oh, if he gets the ball, he scores. I thought that was Gabriel Jesus, especially when he first moved from City to Arsenal, and I was like, oh, sick. He's had amazing games at City. He's gonna be sick at Arsenal. Ever since his injury, he hasn't really been. And of course, he's coming. Injury definitely does people well. Doesn't do people well, but after that, it's kind of been rough seeing him play. Trossard, I've been loving. Uh, when I was first introduced to Trossard last season, I actually didn't think that he was all that. And that was honestly a hot take. When my friend told me like, "Oh, he's sick," internally I kind of go, "Is he?" Because I thought like when I first saw him, I was like, "What is happening?" He didn't look at first glance to me. It might have been the game that I was watching, but he didn't look like a player that I was too excited to see step in. But now, ever since the season started, every time that Trossard goes on the pitch, I'm excited. Sometimes I kind of wish that he comes in as a sub because I really think that he is a pacemaker. He is a change. He changes the pace. He actually makes Arsenal. I feel like he makes Arsenal better when he's a sub. Whether that be he gets subbed in at 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I do think that he changes the game and makes it better. Um, when he starts, though, I actually don't know the statistics on when he starts on his goals when he starts or when he gets subbed in. But I personally think that he should come in as a sub. But I think he should come in more often as a sub. I believe that Arteta should. I mean, Arteta is very goal oriented, right? And I do think that having a very attacking squad, as we notice, is quite good, um, especially with the goal differential. But uh, having Trossard in there is very essential. I don't know why he's so different when he's starting and subbing in, but it's a point. But he's just great. Declan Rice, I could see why he's marvelous. I don't even need to mention Odegaard. I'm talking about the top five people right now in the scoring sheet right now. Yeah, Saka. I don't need to talk about. He's great. I mean, a lot of people are talking shit about him, especially since um, a lot of people talk about his signature move, limping, or like the leg extension. I'm like, it's I will sound like a delusional Arsenal fan. I was like, it's fine. People do it all the time. I think mainly because sometimes he's known to do that very often, and I get the joke. But I mean, like, when you tackle him, he is the star that you kind of want to tackle. So it makes sense that he gets that a lot, but I feel like people are overreacting. It could be me as an Arsenal fan being delusional. That's all right, but you know, fuck off. All right, fuck off. I believe in my boy. I believe in my guy. Martin Odegaard. I don't need to talk much. Every time that I see him, he is a true captain. He balls out there. I don't think from history and statistics, I don't think he's on the level of Mr. Özil. I know uh, Özil was before my time. He's not before my time. He actually would have been during the time that I would watch soccer, but I didn't really have an avenue to watch it until 2 years ago. Just chewed some gum. I need it in my mouth. Um, yeah. I always wish I could watch Özil play live because I know that he was a beast at Arsenal. But from what I know, from highlights, from statistics, from how people talk about in like his overall name, I don't think that Odegaard has reached up to his level yet, but he is getting there. I feel like Odegaard is um, increasing by every season. Last season he was fantastic though. How old was 25? And Odegaard is still increasing. Last year he did fantastic. This year was good as well. I'm trying to think of the stats for 2022. 2022, 2023. His stats for 2022, 2023. Where is it? 37 matches, 15 goals, 7 assists. He has, I think by the time he might have had less goal advantages, right? Not advantages, but goals. I forgot the exact term. God, I'm having a mind blank on that. But he's not as involved with the amount of goals. He's not getting him any assists or any goals. He is eight for 8, so I could be wrong with the timing. But I believe during this time he had a lot more. We still have more games to go. But I do think that he is better this season than he was last season. The reason why I say that is because every time he gets the ball, you know you're almost confident that he's going to do something with it. Whether it be a good shot or a rough shot, like you can, when you shoot, you're expecting something. Or when he passes, you expect him to see something. Odegaard is a player where every time he's there, I know he's going to do well. So if I ever see him get hurt, I freak out a little bit. But I trust him entirely to captain the team and move things around. I kind of went to Declan Rice, but I didn't speak on it at all. Ever since we got the transfer of Declan Rice, I've loved him since. I knew he was the star guy at West Ham, and that he has done so much for West Ham, like giving them the one of the most. I was it the first European trophy or one of the first European trophies for the club. I honestly thought he might have stayed because if I know correctly, he grew up from the academy there, and I thought maybe he might have, but if we got him, we got him, and I was actually very happy to hear about it, about that transfer. Um, the way he controls the defensive half, he does well. He does well, and I like his presence when he controls the area. Something randomly. I like the control that he has in the area. Like I trust him. I trust him to control the area. I could be biased because I do have his card on FIFA, so I do trust him. So my trust in his a character could be transferred to his real life version. Could be, but I do trust him every time he gets the ball. I sometimes he makes some wild shots, and I'm like, bro, why are you in pro clubs? He might see something that I'm not. My football knowledge, soccer knowledge, whatever you want to call it, is not up to par to many other people. But when I see him play, I trusted him. Maybe not his long shots yet. I haven't seen too many of those, but he has done well. I don't need to talk about Martinelli. Martinelli has always been a powerhouse of a player. Though this year I feel like something's off with him. He's last year he was fantastic. Every time I saw him, I thought he was magical. Martinelli. I feel like last year he was significantly better. He's about halfway with his stats from last year, but I feel like something was off with him when he plays now. Like I don't see the true confidence. It could be because they're trying to focus on more set pieces, but every time he gets the ball or tries to shoot, I'm not as confident with him anymore. I feel like he's very necessary. I think he's truly necessary to the team, and I love him for it. I wouldn't want like I want to keep him. I want, but the thing is, I something's off with him this season, and I hope he figures it out. Because as much as I talked about these top five scorers, we couldn't score against Bayern in the Champions League, and I saw that during like all the people I trusted during the thing. I mean, Kai Havertz, I said he's the only one I didn't trust. Most of the people that I mentioned during the Bayern game, they didn't. They looked terrible. They looked terrible during the Bayern game. I was bored watching the match. Like usually when I watch these Champions League matches, every time Arsenal plays, I'm on the edge of my seat. Everyone's going at their hardest. They're giving that they're all. You can see when someone's on an off day. Felt like the entire team was on an off day. I didn't know what was happening. Martinelli could score. Wait, was it that game? Yeah, Martinelli couldn't score. It was. Wait, no, that was the Aston Villa game I'm thinking of. Am I mixing up the two games? I feel like. I mean, two losses in a row is what messed up my mind. Now I need to the Bayern versus Arsenal game. I don't want the highlights. I just want a quick commentary over the Yasu. Yeah, they wanted to be more attacking. Gabriel Jesus doing that. I'm gonna talk about the final real quick. The score from Bayern. I was pissed during that. And actually, yep. I was very much okay with that. I need a ESPN highlights. ESPN commentary. ESPN commentary is not always great, but I feel like when they piece by piece, that scared me. Some sound went through. Pictures. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Champions League results. There we go. This is very budgeted. Very. There we go. Nope. Where is it? Give me the match. Nope. No, I can't. I can't get the live commentary. Anyway, I wasn't happy when I wasn't happy seeing the performances of everybody. I don't know how many shots were on target during I don't know how many shots were on target for Arsenal, but it felt like nothing was happening. And I mean, when you have Manuel Neuer in the goal, you definitely need to get your set pieces together to make sure that you're going to get the goal. Neuer's not as good as he used to be in his peak, but you know, you need to make sure that you get the goals in. I know Neuer's giant, but you need to make sure that you take your chances. Or you could have had that Kimmich goal. Kimmich goal was such a good goal. It was a good header, but there was no one defending the space. Thierry Henry said it right when Tomiyasu was covering Sane. At least someone of the defenders should have closed the gap between Kimmich because that opened up an area between all the defenders and Kimmich could just head the goal. I agree with when I saw the goal, I was like, no, why is there an open spot? That look like a set piece that Arsenal makes. Arsenal knows about set pieces. That's why we have such high goal differentials. And I felt like that one point was like, oh my god, we just got hit by our own weapon. That's what it felt like. But you know, it was a good fight. It wasn't it was a good game to watch. I was very happy to see that Arsenal made it that far. But I felt as if Arsenal should have um, done better. We could have at least brought it to penalties. Whether or not we win at penalties is, of course, a different story. Penalties is a whole different game that you can't really do with statistics or who's a better player. It's all about the pressure at the current moment. I mean, Bayern has the experience, but Bayern Munich, I should say, Bayern Munich has the experience, but you know, it doesn't matter what it's at the moment. So I was upset at that. So after losing to Villa and then to Bayern, I was like, oh my god. Luckily, we won back at Wolves, and even this past weekend we destroyed Chelsea. Not weekend, Monday. It was Monday. Destroying Chelsea, that was great to hear. It was good to know that Arsenal's coming back to form. And I was actually very proud of Kai Havertz for scoring 2 goals there, even though even though I talked bad about Havertz. He is coming into form, so I do think I need to give him more of a chance than I have in the past. But he still needs to prove it to me by the end of the season. I do think buying him, Arteta has a plan for him, but he might get comfortable and actually do well for us. But you know, we'll see how that goes. But winning against Chelsea was a good staple. I mean, Chelsea is always up and down. Chelsea can do really good. They did really good against City during the FA Cup, but they just couldn't score. That could be because of many issues. But you know, it could be something. I feel like Chelsea is always interesting, especially this year. But we'll figure out how their squad is going to be. But other than that, we have Tottenham on Sunday, the 28th, at 9 o'clock EST. So that's Arsenal, right? I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with what we have. I actually don't know where I would want to improve because I trust a lot of people that we have. Jorginho, uh, Declan Rice. I feel like I'm forgetting the squad. Uh, my problem is actually the defense. I actually have a problem with the defense. I don't know where everyone kind of falls in. Like Saliba, I trust Ben White. I trust Gabriel. I trust each one individually, but I don't know what the plan is. You know what I mean? Like Tomiyasu, I feel like Tomiyasu is getting better. Every time I see him, I'm like, yes. Zinchenko from last season, I actually thought that he was like top tier, but the more I watch him, I'm kind of like maybe not top tier. Maybe he's just good, or he could just be okay. I have no idea. I feel like the defense. I have no idea. My opinion on that. There's so much about the defense that I don't know how to comment on because it confuses me. The midfield, the defense confuses me. I don't. Well, that's one thing I when it comes to soccer or football knowledge. When it comes to defenses, I don't know how to imagine it. I only know about the individual player. Kind of like when I think about Liverpool, you have VVD, you have Trent, you have not Robertson. Robertson's not there anymore. Is Robertson still? Yeah, Robertson's still there. Sorry, for some reason I was thinking about City and people leaving, or what was I thinking about? But yeah, I think about the individual when it comes to defenses. I don't think of them as a whole unit, and I guess I kind of don't know how Arsenal's defense is as a unit because every time I see them as a unit, it doesn't seem like they work. The midfield, I trust the individual player. Every time I see certain players come in, I'm like, okay, sure. This is when my lack of ball knowledge kind of goes into play because I don't know formations. I don't know uh, ways that people can how soccer. I didn't play soccer growing up. Like I said, I've only learned of soccer through actually Mini Mentor when he started playing FIFA, and I was like, he's actually making this game sound fun. Let me go get it. And I started learning more about soccer. I started watching some highlights, started watching some games, and I was like, you know what? This sport is really fun, and as an American, I need to give it a shot. And I gave it a shot, though I never had a chance, was able to watch any games until senior year of college, where my friend Corey was able to be like, "Hey, let's watch some games." Yeah, I was like, "Oh, you're an Arsenal fan?" He was like, "Yeah." So he and I talked about soccer a bit, and he's just like, "Oh, let me teach you some stuff." And he taught me some stuff, not a lot of stuff, but because how can you really teach a person enough knowledge? I mean, especially when you're going to school, you can only teach so much. But he's every time we watch a game, he teaches me and learns about all this sort of stuff, and I kind of transferred that with my knowledge with FIFA. Like he knew I played FIFA, so I kind of had that mindset. He taught me a lot about FIFA, and FIFA doesn't really always correspond with actual real life, but it helps me kind of think about things in perspective and how complex everything is. But I'm very happy with how our I'm not. I feel like I'm kind of being loop to loop. I'm happy. I'm not happy. Arsenal's in a very weird spot for me. I'm just very nervous about the league. We already lost the Champions League. We're not. We're. I don't want to come out of the season trophyless. It scares me. There are a lot of transfer talks about getting people, but I don't know who or what because I don't know where everyone fits. I don't know whose contracts are actually ending either. I need to look into that. But yeah, that's my Arsenal spiel. That was like 35 minutes or something of just Arsenal and talking about soccer and anything related to the Premier League or the Champions League. But that's my little Arsenal spiel. I just kind of was spitball it a little bit. My opinions of what's on. Not really my opinions. Kind of just stating everything and kind of just going, what the fuck. I don't get it. I don't know what's actually happening. I feel like no one does with Arsenal. I feel like it's almost like Chelsea, but better. You know, it's like you don't know what's actually happening. I feel like Arteta knows absolutely. Maybe other fans know much better about future plan, but I don't see a. I'm very confused about who's our top guys. With City, Liverpool, I could see like these are the guys that we start with. These are the guys we want to do to attack this team. Like it makes sense when I look at a squad. I'm like, oh, he puts Doku in because for Grealish because of these reasons. He puts Foden over here. He puts De Bruyne over here. He put Alvarez or Holland there. He takes some players out because he's playing this sort of way against this team. I can see that. But every time I watch Arsenal, I'm always surprised. I'm like, why is he there? But I was like, oh, he did good last game. Why is he not starting now? I was like, why did we switch it up? And I'm like, maybe I don't know much about the opponent. It could be there's so much that I don't know when I'm learning about. So I've kind of ranted so much to the point where I just ended it with I don't know what I'm talking about. So we love that. But yeah. So this whole 36 minutes was pointless. So thanks for listening to my nonsense. But I kind of want to end up with a little bit of updates of my own. I haven't vlogged in a bit. The reason is because I'm not doing much. Mainly because I am sitting here. And I'm legit talking about I am legit sitting here. It's kind of confusing why I didn't record a podcast. I am just sitting here on emails, sitting and streaming because I am just nervous about school. Fortunately, we have some good news. I don't want to say too much yet. I don't want to say anything yet. But we are figuring things out to make sure that we can get my future set up. Once that is set up, I will start vlogging again. I kind of realized I started vlogging too soon, mainly because I just sit here. I just sit here. I don't do much. I go to the gym occasionally. I'm going to try to go more often now that more things are settling. But I don't do much. Part of that interruption. Sorry. Yeah, I don't really do much. I kind of just sit here and kind of live life until I get into school. And once I get into school, that's when things are going to start interesting. That's when I'm going to start vlogging a bit. Hopefully I get this content game going. I made this unrealistic goal to become monetized on YouTube on my main channel. I say main channel, it's my edited YouTube channel, my Literally Campers channel. My goal is to become monetized on that channel and a little bit more for Twitch and the streaming there, just so I can kind of see if I can get monetized and kind of see if I can live off of that. Not entirely, right? I'm gonna need some help from family members. Of course, I still have savings from college beforehand that I did use, but at least have this as kind of a baseline to kind of continue on forward. And all the other channels are kind of just passive channels. Like the Let's Play channel is if that gets monetized, right? That's passive income. Every day is a video, every day there's some sort of monetization. And honestly, I should probably do much better because that technically is bigger than my other channel. But my Literally Camper channel is where I do stream. That is where I do stuff. My YouTube channel, at least. I do multi-stream on Twitch and YouTube. But my Literally Camper channel, I'm hoping to get that monetized soon and get a goal. It's a very unrealistic goal, and I said it in stream today. When I was streaming, I went. This is an unrealistic goal, but I want to see if I could reach it. The unrealistic goal of getting that YouTube partnership and seeing what I can do with that. It's not enough to make money. It's not enough to live off of. It's not. It's not paycheck to paycheck. It's not even that. It's probably less than that. But I want to give it a shot to see if I can. Because if I'm able to do it in the 4 months until I get to school, and maybe build off further than that, and even see if I can even profit off of that, I can do school and live and do a job that is part-time, but I could also enjoy. Like, that's my downtime. Even though I'm working, it's my downtime. Like when I'm done with schoolwork and I don't need to study right now, and I'm like, let me just get on stream right now. Let me play some video games because I love playing video games, but I feel guilty playing it when I need to do work. So that's why I stream to make sure that guilt kind of goes away because it's like, oh, I could get some money with it. Twitch, I am affiliate, so I do get bits, I get cents, but I enjoy doing it. I don't like doing this for the money. I hate doing it for the money. And I will admit that I hate doing it for the money. But as I grow older, I kind of have to. I kind of have to. And you know, it's it's one of those things. It's one of those things that I have to deal with, where I have to choose my side projects or my life. So that's okay. Yeah, that's basically it. We're gonna try. We're trying our best. I'm trying to stream every single day, maybe 2 streams a day to see what I can do. But of course, if you all are listening to this, if anyone here is listening to this and they would love to help support me, seeing if I can create more content, because that allows me to kind of do more more of this sort of stuff. Like if this other stuff can build up and all my other podcasts, all my other channels kind of start building up, that kind of gives me the motivation to continue on going because I can make content for a passion project, but also live my regular life. I never want to be a full-time content creator because I don't think that's a life that I kind of want to live. If I end up having to make that decision, that will have to be a conversation that I'll have to have with many, many people. And we'll have to see how that goes when it comes to those decisions. I'm just looking at statistics and kind of talking about how it's going to be very, very difficult. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm trying my best to see what I can do, seeing what I can do. But we'll see how it goes. I want to thank everyone for listening into the podcast. I want to do a quick update and talk about Arsenal today. Thank you everyone for listening. If you're listening to this on any other platforms, hopefully the platforms will be on all platforms soon. I'm still working on that. If you're here on the YouTube watching this or listening to this, I appreciate it all very much. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And make sure to check out all my other channels. So all my other channels are a lot more active than this one. As much as I am trying to vlog, those vlogs will be a lot more sporadic until I am actually out. So we'll hope for the best for that. All right. We'll see you guys next week for another solo podcast, because I don't think I have time to record one with the guests this week. For another solo podcast, we'll do another ramble session about shit. Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.